My child, stop for a moment. Yes, you. Do not rush past this message. Do not scroll away as if these are just ordinary words appearing on your screen. This moment is not an accident. It is not coincidence. It is not something that happened by chance. Heaven has chosen this exact moment to reach you. Before you continue, take a slow breath. Quiet the noise around you. For just a few moments, let your heart become still. Because I am speaking to you right now, you may have been carrying burdens that no one knows about. You may have smiled through pain, hidden tears behind strength, and continued moving forward even when your soul felt exhausted. Perhaps there were nights when you lay awake asking questions no one could answer. Perhaps there were prayers you whispered so softly that you wondered if anyone heard them at all. But I heard every word. I saw every tear. I felt every ache hidden deep within your heart. My beloved child, I have not forgotten you. Even when life seemed silent, I was there. Even when doors closed unexpectedly, I was there. Even when you felt abandoned, confused, or overlooked, I never left your side. At this very moment, heaven is closer than you realize. My presence surrounds you. My love is reaching toward you, and what I am about to reveal may change the way you see your struggles forever. You have been asking for healing. You have been praying for peace. You have been waiting for relief from the weight that has followed you for so long. And today, I want you to hear this truth with your whole heart. What you have been praying for is not as far away as you think. The answer has already begun moving toward you. The healing has already started. The restoration has already been set into motion. You may not see it yet. You may not feel it completely, but heaven is already working on your behalf. Do not let fear convince you that nothing is happening. Do not let disappointment tell you that your prayers were ignored. And do not allow the enemy to make you believe that your story will always look the way it does today. Because change is coming. Hope is rising. Light is entering places that have been dark for far too long. My child, stay with me until the end of this message. Open your heart. Listen carefully. For before this message is over, you will understand why your pain was never wasted, why your waiting was never meaningless, and why heaven has chosen this very moment to speak directly to you. My beloved child, there are things in your heart that no one else knows. There are wounds you learned to hide so well that even those closest to you never saw them. You carried them quietly. You carried them through busy days and lonely nights. You carried them while smiling at people who assumed you were fine. You carried them while telling everyone else that everything would be okay, even when you were not sure it would. But I saw it all. I saw the tears that never fell in public. I saw the nights when sleep would not come because your mind would not rest. I saw the moments when your heart felt so heavy that even breathing seemed difficult. And I want you to know something today. Not one moment of your suffering escaped my sight. Not one tear fell unnoticed. Not one cry went unheard. There were times when you sat alone and wondered if anyone truly understood what you were carrying. You felt surrounded by people yet completely alone. You wanted someone to see beyond your smile, someone to notice that you were tired, someone to understand that you were fighting battles you could not explain. My child, I understood. I knew every fear before you spoke it. I knew every disappointment before you tried to hide it. I knew every silent prayer before it ever reached your lips. When others saw strength, I saw exhaustion. When others saw confidence, I saw uncertainty. When others saw your success, I saw the pressure you were carrying behind it. Nothing about you has ever been hidden from me. I saw the rejection that wounded your heart, the words that stayed with you long after they were spoken, the betrayal that made it difficult to trust again, the loss that left an empty place inside you, the disappointment that caused you to question whether things would ever change. I saw every one of those moments, and I stayed beside you through them all. Even when you could not feel my presence, even when you thought heaven was silent, even when you wondered if I had forgotten you, I never left. There were nights when you cried yourself to sleep and felt completely unseen, but I was there. There were mornings when you woke up already exhausted by the thought of another day, but I was there. There were moments when you questioned your worth, your purpose, and your future, but I was there. My child, you have spent so much time trying to be strong. You have carried burdens that were never meant for your shoulders. You have blamed yourself for things that were never your fault. You have fought battles that would have broken many others, Yet somehow, you kept moving forward. Not because you were strong enough on your own, but because my hand was holding you even when you could not see it. You may feel weak today. You may feel tired. You may feel as though your heart has been carrying too much for too long. But I want you to listen carefully. Your pain does not make you invisible. Your struggles do not make you forgotten. Your tears do not make you weak. In fact, heaven has seen every step you have taken through the darkness. Every time you chose not to give up. Every time you got back up after being knocked down. Every time you continued believing when circumstances gave you every reason to quit. I saw it all, and I am proud of you. My beloved, there is something else you must understand. The pain you never told anyone about is not the end of your story. It is not the chapter that will define your life forever. The wounds that seem deepest today will one day become evidence of my faithfulness. The tears you cried in secret will become part of the testimony you share openly. The heartbreak that nearly broke you will become proof that my grace carried you through. So do not believe the lie that your suffering was meaningless. Do not believe the lie that heaven ignored your cries. Because every moment mattered, every prayer was heard, every tear was collected. And even now, as you listen to my voice, I am moving toward the places inside you that hurt the most. I am touching the wounds you never showed anyone. I am healing the pain you never spoke about. And I am preparing you to see that I was with you all along. My child, there were many moments when you believed I had become silent. You prayed and heard no answer. You waited and saw no change. You cried out and felt only emptiness. You looked at your circumstances and wondered why nothing seemed to move. You asked, Lord, where are you? You asked, why are you not answering me? You asked, have you forgotten me? But beloved, the silence you experienced was never my absence. It was preparation. It was protection. It was my hand moving in ways your eyes could not yet see. You believed nothing was happening because you could not see immediate results. But heaven does not stop working simply because you cannot see the movement. The roots of a tree grow deep underground, long before anyone sees the first sign of life above the surface. The dawn begins before the sun appears over the horizon. The rain forms in the clouds before it ever touches the earth. In the same way, I was working long before you noticed the evidence. I was arranging things behind the scenes. I was opening doors you did not know existed. I was closing doors that would have led you into greater pain. I was protecting you from dangers you never knew were near. Many times you cried because something did not work out. You called it rejection. You called it failure. You called it disappointment. But I called it protection. You wanted certain people to stay in your life. I saw what they would eventually become. You wanted certain opportunities to succeed. I saw where those paths would lead. You wanted immediate answers. I was preparing a better outcome than the one you were asking for. My child, if you could see everything I have protected you from, you would understand why some prayers seemed delayed. There were battles taking place beyond what your eyes could perceive. While you worried, I was working. While you questioned, I was arranging. While you waited, I was preparing. Not one day of your waiting was wasted. Not one prayer disappeared into empty space. Every prayer reached me. Every tear spoke to me. Every moment of faith was recorded in heaven. You thought I was doing nothing because I was not working according to your timeline. But I am not limited by human timing. I see the beginning and the end at the same moment. I know what is ahead. I know what must happen first. I know what must be removed before the blessing can arrive. I know what must be healed before the next chapter begins. Trust me, beloved, I have never been late. Even now, there are things happening for you that you cannot yet see. There are answers moving toward you. There are doors beginning to open. There are chains beginning to break. There are opportunities being prepared. There are blessings being released. And much of it is happening in places beyond your vision. That is why faith is so important. Faith allows you to trust me before you see the evidence. Faith allows you to keep walking when the road seems unclear. Faith allows you to believe that heaven is moving even when the earth appears still. Remember this, my child. Silence does not mean abandonment. Waiting does not mean rejection. Delay does not mean denial. Many of the greatest miracles began in seasons that looked completely hopeless. There was silence before Lazarus walked out of the tomb. There was silence before the stone was rolled away. There was silence before breakthrough arrived. And there may have been silence in your life too. But that silence was never empty. It was filled with my presence. It was filled with my purpose. It was filled with my plans for your future. The enemy wanted you to believe that the silence meant I had left you. He wanted you to stop praying. He wanted you to stop believing. He wanted you to surrender your hope. But you are still here. You kept going. You kept believing, even when you did not understand. And heaven saw every moment of that faith. My beloved, I need you to hear this today. The chapter you called silence was actually one of the busiest seasons of heaven's activity in your life. While you were looking for visible movement, I was transforming things at the deepest level. I was strengthening your spirit. I was teaching you trust. I was building endurance inside you. I was preparing you for blessings that require a stronger version of you, because the truth is this: if I had given you everything too soon, it would not have blessed you, it would have overwhelmed you. So I prepared you first. I refined you first. I strengthened you first. And now, as you look back, you will begin to see pieces of my plan coming together. The things that once confused you will start making sense. The delays will reveal their purpose. The closed doors will reveal their protection. And the silence will reveal the sound of my faithful hand working all along. My child, heaven was never silent. I was speaking through every sunrise. I was speaking through every act of mercy. I was speaking through every day that I carried you when you thought you could not continue. And now I am telling you clearly, I never stopped working, not for a single moment, not for a single day. And what I have been preparing for you is closer than you think. My child, there were many moments when you believed I had become silent. You prayed and heard no answer. You waited and saw no change. You cried out and felt only emptiness. You looked at your circumstances and wondered why nothing seemed to move. You asked, Lord, where are you? You asked, why are you not answering me? You asked, have you forgotten me? But beloved, the silence you experienced was never my absence. It was preparation. It was protection. It was my hand moving in ways your eyes could not yet see. You believed nothing was happening because you could not see immediate results. But heaven does not stop working simply because you cannot see the movement. The roots of a tree grow deep underground, long before anyone sees the first sign of life above the surface. The dawn begins before the sun appears over the horizon. The rain forms in the clouds before it ever touches the earth. In the same way, I was working long before you noticed the evidence. I was arranging things behind the scenes. I was opening doors you did not know existed. I was closing doors that would have led you into greater pain. I was protecting you from dangers you never knew were near. Many times you cried because something did not work out. You called it rejection. You called it failure. You called it disappointment. But I called it protection. You wanted certain people to stay in your life. I saw what they would eventually become. You wanted certain opportunities to succeed. I saw where those paths would lead. You wanted immediate answers. I was preparing a better outcome than the one you were asking for. My child, if you could see everything I have protected you from, you would understand why some prayers seemed delayed. There were battles taking place beyond what your eyes could perceive. While you worried, I was working. While you questioned, I was arranging. While you waited, I was preparing. Not one day of your waiting was wasted. Not one prayer disappeared into empty space. Every prayer reached me. Every tear spoke to me. Every moment of faith was recorded in heaven. You thought I was doing nothing because I was not working according to your timeline. But I am not limited by human timing. I see the beginning and the end at the same moment. I know what is ahead. I know what must happen first. I know what must be removed before the blessing can arrive. I know what must be healed before the next chapter begins. Trust me, beloved, I have never been late. Even now, there are things happening for you that you cannot yet see. There are answers moving toward you. There are doors beginning to open. There are chains beginning to break. There are opportunities being prepared. There are blessings being released. And much of it is happening in places beyond your vision. That is why faith is so important. Faith allows you to trust me before you see the evidence. Faith allows you to keep walking when the road seems unclear. Faith allows you to believe that heaven is moving even when the earth appears still. Remember this, my child. Silence does not mean abandonment. Waiting does not mean rejection. Delay does not mean denial. Many of the greatest miracles began in seasons that looked completely hopeless. There was silence before Lazarus walked out of the tomb. There was silence before the stone was rolled away. There was silence before breakthrough arrived. And there may have been silence in your life too. But that silence was never empty. It was filled with my presence. It was filled with my purpose. It was filled with my plans for your future. The enemy wanted you to believe that the silence meant I had left you. He wanted you to stop praying. He wanted you to stop believing. He wanted you to surrender your hope. But you are still here. You kept going. You kept believing, even when you did not understand. And heaven saw every moment of that faith. My beloved, I need you to hear this today. The chapter you called silence was actually one of the busiest seasons of heaven's activity in your life. While you were looking for visible movement, I was transforming things at the deepest level. I was strengthening your spirit. I was teaching you trust. I was building endurance inside you. I was preparing you for blessings that require a stronger version of you, because the truth is this: if I had given you everything too soon, it would not have blessed you, it would have overwhelmed you. So I prepared you first. I refined you first. I strengthened you first. And now, as you look back, you will begin to see pieces of my plan coming together. The things that once confused you will start making sense. The delays will reveal their purpose. The closed doors will reveal their protection. And the silence will reveal the sound of my faithful hand working all along. My child, heaven was never silent. I was speaking through every sunrise. I was speaking through every act of mercy. I was speaking through every day that I carried you when you thought you could not continue. And now I am telling you clearly, I never stopped working, not for a single moment, not for a single day. And what I have been preparing for you is closer than you think. My beloved child, one of the greatest misunderstandings about healing is believing that it only begins when you can feel it. Many people look for immediate signs. They look for instant change. They look for visible proof. And when they do not see it right away, they assume nothing is happening. But that is not how heaven often works. Healing frequently begins long before it becomes visible. It starts in places your eyes cannot see. It begins in the deepest parts of your heart, your mind, and your spirit. Long before the flower appears, the seed is already growing beneath the soil. Long before dawn fills the sky with light, the darkness has already begun to retreat. Long before a river reaches the ocean, it has already begun its journey. And in the same way, your healing began before you felt it. You have been asking me, Lord, where is my breakthrough? And I say to you now, look closer. The healing has already started. You may not recognize it because it did not arrive in the form you expected. You expected everything to change overnight. You expected all the pain to disappear at once. You expected every burden to suddenly vanish. But heaven often heals gently. Heaven heals deeply. Heaven heals completely. I am not interested in covering your wounds. I am interested in restoring them. I am not interested in temporary relief. I am bringing lasting transformation. Think about the person you were a year ago. Think about the fears that once controlled you. Think about the battles that once seemed impossible to survive. You are still standing. You are still believing. You are still moving forward. That is evidence of healing. The enemy wanted your faith to die, yet your faith remains. The enemy wanted your hope to disappear, yet hope still rises inside you. The enemy wanted your heart to become completely hardened, yet you are still seeking me. Do you not see it, my child? That is healing. Even now, there are changes taking place within you. The anxiety that once ruled every thought is losing its power. The guilt that once followed you everywhere is beginning to loosen its grip. The fear that once controlled your decisions is becoming weaker. You may not be completely free yet, but you are no longer where you once were. That is because my healing power has been working quietly inside you. Every prayer has been watering the seeds of restoration. Every moment of faith has been building something stronger within your spirit. Every time you chose to trust me despite your pain, healing moved a little deeper. Many people miss their miracle because they only look for dramatic moments. But I want you to recognize the smaller miracles too. The day you smiled again. The morning you felt a little lighter. The moment you realized that a painful memory no longer hurt the way it once did. The night you slept peacefully after months of worry. The sudden feeling of hope that appeared without explanation. These are not accidents. These are signs that heaven is already moving. These are signs that my hand is already at work. My child, healing is not always loud. Sometimes it arrives like a whisper. Sometimes it comes like a gentle breeze. Sometimes it unfolds quietly, piece by piece, until one day you look back and realize that the person you used to be no longer exists. The wounds that once controlled your life no longer define you. The pain that once consumed your thoughts no longer owns you. The darkness that once surrounded you has begun to give way to light. That is what I am doing right now. I am healing not only your body but your soul. I am healing not only your circumstances, but your heart. I am healing not only your present pain, but wounds that have followed you for years. Nothing is beyond my reach. Nothing is beyond my power. Nothing is beyond my love. Even the parts of yourself that you have given up on are not beyond my ability to restore. So do not become discouraged if everything has not changed yet. Do not assume that because the process feels slow, it is not real. The deepest healing often takes place beneath the surface. The greatest transformations often begin in silence. The strongest foundations are built where no one can see them. Trust what I am doing. Trust the process of grace. Trust the work of my hands. Because while you were waiting for healing to begin, heaven had already started the work. While you were asking for a sign, I was already moving. While you were wondering if your prayers were being answered, the answer was already unfolding. My beloved, hear me clearly. You are not waiting for healing to arrive. You are walking through healing right now. Every day my peace is replacing fear. Every day my light is pushing back darkness. Every day my love is restoring what pain tried to destroy. And one day, very soon, you will look back and realize that the miracle did not begin the moment you saw it. The miracle began the moment I touched your heart, and my hand has been upon you all along. My beloved child, there is something you need to understand about the battles you have faced. Not every attack came because you were weak. Not every storm came because you failed. Not every hardship came because I abandoned you. Many of the fiercest battles came because the enemy saw something valuable inside you. He attacked what he feared most. He saw the purpose I placed upon your life. He saw the calling you could not yet see. He saw the strength that was still developing within you, and he tried to stop it before it could fully emerge. The enemy does not waste his energy fighting what has no future. He targets what carries potential. He resists what carries purpose. He attacks what threatens his plans. That is why some of your struggles felt so intense. That is why certain seasons seemed heavier than others. That is why there were moments when it felt as though everything was coming against you at once. The battle was never only about your present situation. It was about your future. The enemy saw what heaven was preparing. He saw the healing that was coming. He saw the restoration that was approaching. He saw the testimony that would one day come from your pain. And he was afraid. He was afraid that you would discover who you truly are. He was afraid that you would realize how deeply you are loved. He was afraid that you would stop listening to his lies and start believing my truth. So he attacked your mind. He filled your thoughts with doubt. He whispered that you were not enough. He told you that nothing would ever change. He tried to convince you that your prayers were pointless. He tried to make you believe that heaven was silent. But those lies were never the truth. The truth is that I was with you every step of the way. The truth is that your future remains secure in my hands. The truth is that no attack could cancel what I have spoken over your life. My child, think about how many times you almost gave up. Think about how many times you felt exhausted. Think about how many times fear told you to stop believing, yet somehow you kept going. Why? Because my hand was sustaining you. My spirit was strengthening you. My grace was carrying you. The enemy wanted to destroy your faith, but your faith survived. He wanted to bury your hope, but hope continued to rise. He wanted to break your spirit, but your spirit remained standing. That is because what I placed inside you is stronger than what came against you. You may have scars from the battle. You may still carry memories of difficult seasons. You may still be healing from wounds that were inflicted along the way. But hear me clearly. Scars are not signs of defeat. They are evidence that you survived. They are proof that my grace brought you through. Every attack that was meant to destroy you has ultimately strengthened you. Every storm that was meant to break you has deepened your trust in me. Every challenge that was meant to stop you has become part of your preparation. The enemy thought the pressure would crush you. Instead, it refined you. He thought the delay would discourage you. Instead, it taught you patience. He thought the pain would separate you from me. Instead, it brought you closer to my heart. Do you see what I have been doing? I have been turning battles into lessons. I have been turning wounds into wisdom. I have been turning suffering into strength. Nothing has been wasted. Not a single tear. Not a single prayer. Not a single moment of struggle. The enemy may have started the attack, but he does not control the outcome. I do. And I am able to take what was meant for harm and transform it into something beautiful. My beloved, the battle is not proof that you are forgotten. It is proof that your life matters. It is proof that your future carries significance. It is proof that there is something ahead worth fighting for. The enemy attacked what he feared most. He attacked the faith that would one day inspire others. He attacked the strength that would one day help others stand. He attacked the testimony that would one day bring hope to someone who feels hopeless. He attacked the purpose that heaven placed inside you before you were even born. But he failed. You are still here. You are still listening. You are still seeking me. You are still standing. And that alone is evidence that my power has been greater than every attack. So stop looking at your battles as proof that something is wrong with you. Instead, begin to see them as evidence that something valuable is within you. Because what I have placed inside you cannot be stolen. What I have spoken over your life cannot be canceled. And what I have prepared for your future cannot be stopped. The enemy may have fought fiercely, but he fought because he was afraid of what would happen when you finally discovered your true identity. And now, my child, that moment is drawing near. The attacks are losing their power. The lies are being exposed. The chains are beginning to break. And the purpose that heaven placed inside you is rising stronger than ever before. My beloved friend, if these words are touching your heart right now, do not keep scrolling. Pause for a moment and take a deep breath. Perhaps this message found you because heaven knew exactly what you needed to hear today. If you believe God is healing what pain tried to destroy, type, "I receive heaven's healing," in the comments below. Let that declaration be your act of faith, not because the words themselves hold power, but because they reflect a heart that is willing to trust God even before seeing the full miracle. And if this message has encouraged you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. There are thousands of people walking through battles similar to yours, and together we can build a community of faith, hope, healing, and restoration. Remember, my child, you are not alone. Heaven sees you, heaven hears you, and heaven is already moving on your behalf. My beloved child, pain has taken many things from you. It has stolen moments you can never get back. It has stolen sleep from your nights. It has stolen peace from your thoughts. It has stolen confidence from your heart. There were seasons when you no longer recognized yourself. The person who once dreamed boldly became hesitant. The person who once trusted easily became guarded. The person who once carried joy naturally began carrying caution instead. Pain has a way of convincing people that what was lost can never be restored. But that is one of the greatest lies the enemy has ever told. Because I am the God of restoration. I restore what others call ruined. I rebuild what others call broken. I revive what others call dead. And I am doing that work in your life, even now. There are things you believe are gone forever. Dreams that seem buried. Relationships that left scars. Opportunities that passed by. Years that feel wasted. But my child, nothing placed in my hands is ever truly lost. I can restore hope after disappointment. I can restore peace after anxiety. I can restore joy after sorrow. I can restore purpose after confusion. I can restore faith after seasons of doubt. The enemy wanted your pain to become your identity. He wanted you to introduce yourself through your wounds. He wanted you to define your future by your failures. He wanted you to believe that what happened to you would always control who you become. But I say no. Your pain is not your identity. Your scars are not your destiny. Your past is not your future. You belong to me, and I am writing a greater story than the one your suffering tried to tell. My beloved, restoration does not simply mean returning things to the way they were. Often, my restoration creates something even stronger. A tree that survives a storm develops deeper roots. Gold that passes through fire becomes more refined. A heart that learns to trust me through hardship develops a strength that comfort alone could never produce. You may wish you could go back to who you were before the pain arrived, but I am not taking you backward. I am leading you forward. Forward into wisdom, forward into maturity, forward into deeper faith, forward into a life shaped by my grace. The enemy tried to steal your joy, yet I am preparing a joy that circumstances cannot take away. He tried to steal your peace, yet I am teaching you a peace that remains even in the middle of uncertainty. He tried to steal your confidence, yet I am showing you that your worth was never based on what happened to you. Your worth has always been found in my love. Even now, restoration is taking place. You may not see all of it yet, but heaven sees it. Every day your heart is becoming stronger. Every day your spirit is becoming steadier. Every day the chains of fear are weakening. Every day the wounds are healing a little more. The process may feel slow, but do not mistake slow growth for no growth. A river carves through stone not by force, but by persistence. And my grace has been flowing through your life with that same persistence. There are blessings ahead that pain cannot stop. There are doors ahead that fear cannot close. There are miracles ahead that doubt cannot prevent, because what I have planned for you is greater than what you have lost. Hear me clearly, my child. The enemy may have taken some things. He may have caused seasons of sorrow. He may have brought discouragement and confusion, but he does not have the final word. I do. And my final word over your life is restoration. I am restoring the confidence you lost. I am restoring the hope you abandoned. I am restoring the dreams you stopped believing in. I am restoring the strength that exhaustion tried to drain away. I am restoring the light that darkness tried to extinguish. The winter season is not forever. Spring always comes. The night is not forever. Morning always arrives. The valley is not forever. The climb will come again. And so it is with you. The season of loss does not define your future. The season of healing does. One day you will look back and realize that the very pain that tried to destroy you became the place where my power was revealed most clearly. You will see that I was rebuilding while you thought everything was falling apart. You will see that I was restoring while you thought everything was lost. And you will understand that my plans for you were always greater than the pain that tried to steal them. For I am not only your healer, I am your restorer. And I am restoring what pain tried to steal. My beloved child, after everything you have been through, after every battle, every disappointment, every season of waiting, I am asking you to do one simple thing. Reach for my hand. Not tomorrow, not when you feel stronger, not when all your questions are answered. Reach for my hand now. I know there are moments when faith feels difficult. I know there are days when fear seems louder than hope. I know there are nights when the storm around you appears stronger than the promises I have spoken. But listen carefully, my child. The strength of your future does not depend on the size of your fear. It depends on who is holding your hand. When Peter stepped out onto the water, he did not walk because the storm disappeared. The wind was still blowing. The waves were still rising. The danger was still real. Yet as long as his eyes remained on me, he kept moving forward. Only when he focused on the storm did fear begin to pull him down. And how often have you done the same? You have looked at the problem instead of the promise. You have looked at the obstacle instead of the opportunity. You have looked at the darkness instead of the light I placed before you. My child, I am calling your eyes back to me. Do not focus on what threatens you. Focus on who is leading you. Do not measure your future by your circumstances. Measure it by my faithfulness. Have I not carried you this far? Have I not protected you through storms you thought would destroy you? Have I not provided for you when you saw no way forward? Have I not comforted you in moments when no one else understood? Then why would I abandon you now? I am the same God who walked with you yesterday. I am the same God who is standing beside you today. And I am the same God who will walk before you tomorrow. Reach for my hand. There is another story I want you to remember. A woman pushed through a crowd just to touch the edge of my garment. She carried years of pain, years of disappointment, years of unanswered questions. Yet she believed that one touch could change everything. And it did. The miracle was not created by perfect faith. The miracle began because she reached. My child, I am not asking for perfect faith from you. I am not asking you to understand everything. I am not asking you to have every answer. I am only asking you to reach. Reach with the faith you have. Reach with the strength you have. Reach with the hope you have. Even if it feels small. Even if it feels weak. Even if all you can whisper is, Lord, help me. That is enough. Because every step you take toward me is met by my love. Every prayer is heard. Every cry reaches heaven. Every act of faith opens the door for my power to move. The enemy wants you to let go. He wants you to release your faith. He wants you to surrender your hope. He wants you to believe that your situation is impossible. But impossible situations have never limited me. I am greater than every obstacle. I am stronger than every chain. I am bigger than every mountain standing in your way. So hold on. When fear whispers, hold on. When doubt returns, hold on. When answers seem delayed, hold on. When the storm becomes intense, hold on, because I am holding you too. There have been many moments when you thought your faith was holding on to me. But the truth is that my hand has been holding you all along. When your strength failed, my strength remained. When your courage disappeared, my presence remained. When your heart grew weary, my love remained. You are not standing today because of your own power. You are standing because my hand never released yours, and I never will. My beloved child, there is healing in my hand. There is peace in my hand. There is restoration in my hand. There is wisdom, guidance, strength, and hope in my hand. Everything you have been searching for ultimately leads back to me. So stop looking for security in temporary things. Stop searching for peace in places that cannot provide it. Stop believing that you must carry your journey alone. Reach for my hand, and once you do not let go. Because the hand that formed the stars is the same hand reaching toward you. The hand that calmed the sea is the same hand guiding your future. The hand that conquered death is the same hand carrying your healing. And as long as you stay connected to me, no storm, no fear, no setback, and no attack from the enemy will be able to separate you from the destiny I have prepared for your life. Reach, my child. Hold on, and do not let go, my beloved child. Seasons do not change all at once. Winter does not disappear in a single moment. Night does not suddenly become day. The first signs are often subtle. A small shift in the air, a faint light on the horizon, a quiet indication that something new is approaching. And in the same way, when I begin changing a season in your life, there are signs. Many people miss them because they are looking for dramatic events. They are waiting for thunder when I am speaking through a whisper. They are looking for instant transformation while I am preparing gradual restoration. But if you look carefully, you will begin to recognize the signs that your season is changing. The first sign is this. You begin to experience peace in situations that once produced fear. The circumstances may not have changed yet. The answers may not have arrived yet. Yet somehow, your heart is becoming calmer. The panic that once controlled you no longer has the same power. That peace is not accidental. It is evidence of my presence. It is a sign that I am preparing you for what comes next. The second sign is that hope begins to return. For a long time, disappointment may have convinced you to expect the worst. You stopped dreaming. You stopped anticipating good things. You protected yourself by lowering your expectations. But suddenly, something begins to shift. You find yourself believing again. You find yourself imagining possibilities again. You find yourself thinking that perhaps things can improve after all. That hope is not coming from your circumstances. It is coming from me. Hope is often one of the first signals that a new season is approaching. The third sign is that old chains begin to lose their strength. Habits that once controlled you begin to weaken. Fear no longer speaks as loudly. Bitterness begins to fade. Past wounds lose some of their power. You may still be healing, but you are no longer where you used to be. That is because my spirit is working within you. Freedom often begins before you fully recognize it. The fourth sign is that I begin placing new desires in your heart. You feel drawn toward prayer. You desire my presence more deeply. You become hungry for truth. You begin seeking growth instead of merely surviving. These desires are not random. They are preparation. I often place new desires inside my children before I lead them into a new season. The fifth sign is that new doors begin appearing. Sometimes they arrive as opportunities. Sometimes they arrive as unexpected conversations. Sometimes they arrive as new relationships, ideas, or directions. At first they may seem small, but they are often the first glimpse of what I have been preparing behind the scenes. Do not overlook these moments. Pay attention. Heaven is often speaking through them. My child, another sign that your season is changing is that the things which once satisfied you no longer do. You begin to sense that you were created for more. Not more possessions, not more recognition, but more of my purpose, more of my presence, more of the life I designed for you. That restlessness is not punishment. It is invitation. It is me calling you forward. And perhaps the greatest sign of all is this: you are still standing. After everything that tried to stop you, you are still here. After every disappointment, every delay, every battle, and every attack, you are still listening to my voice. That alone is evidence that the story is not over. The enemy thought the struggle would end your journey. Instead, it prepared you for the next chapter. My beloved, trust what I am doing. Do not judge your future by your present circumstances. Judge it by my promises. The shifts may seem small right now. The changes may appear gradual. But seasons are changing. The winter is ending. The dawn is approaching. The ground beneath the surface is already coming alive. And very soon, what has been happening quietly will become visible for all to see. Your season is changing. Your healing is growing. And your breakthrough is closer than you realize. My beloved child, everything I have spoken to you has been leading to this moment. Not tomorrow, not next week, not some distant day in the future. This moment, right here, right now. You have heard that I saw your pain. You have heard that I was working during the silence. You have heard that healing began before you could feel it. You have heard that the enemy attacked what he feared most. You have heard that I am restoring what pain tried to steal. You have heard that your season is changing. Now I am asking you to do something simple yet powerful. Receive what heaven has already sent. Too many of my children spend their lives waiting for what has already been released. They pray for peace while refusing to accept it. They ask for healing while continuing to hold tightly to fear. They seek freedom while remaining attached to the burdens. I ask them to surrender. My child, there comes a moment when faith must stop waiting and start receiving. This is that moment. The healing I promised is not merely coming, it is here. The peace you have been searching for is not far away. It is available now. The strength you thought you lacked is already being poured into your spirit. The love you longed to feel has been surrounding you all along. Open your heart and receive it. Do not let doubt steal this moment. The enemy would love nothing more than for you to hear these words and dismiss them. He would love for you to believe that this message is for someone else. He would love for you to postpone your faith until you see physical evidence. But faith does not wait for evidence. Faith receives before it sees. Faith trusts before it understands. Faith says yes, even when the outcome is not yet visible. And that is what I am asking from you today. Say yes. Yes to healing. Yes to peace. Yes to restoration. Yes to the future I am preparing for you. My beloved, heaven is not asking you to earn this gift. You do not need to become perfect first. You do not need to fix yourself first. You do not need to prove your worthiness. My love has already made a way. My grace has already opened the door. My presence is already reaching toward you. All you need to do is receive. Receive my peace where anxiety once lived. Receive my hope where discouragement once ruled. Receive my strength where exhaustion has weakened you. Receive my light where darkness has lingered. Receive my healing where pain has remained. Even now, as you listen, something is shifting. The heaviness is lifting. The fear is loosening its grip. The hopelessness is giving way to expectation. The wounds are beginning to close. The chains are beginning to break. This is not because of your power. It is because heaven is touching your life. My child, Do not walk away from this moment unchanged. Let these words settle deep within your spirit. Let them become stronger than your doubts. Let them become louder than your fears. Let them become the foundation for the next chapter of your life. For this is not merely another message. This is an invitation. An invitation to step into what heaven has already prepared. An invitation to stop striving and start trusting. An invitation to stop carrying and start receiving. An invitation to embrace the healing that has already begun. So take a deep breath, quiet every fear, release every burden, open your heart completely, and whisper these simple words. Lord, I receive what heaven has sent, because the answer is here, the healing is here, the restoration is here, and this, my beloved child, is your moment to receive it. My beloved child, there will come a day when you look back on this season with different eyes. The questions that trouble you now will not always remain unanswered. The confusion that surrounds you now will not last forever. The pain that feels so heavy today will one day reveal a purpose you cannot yet see. Right now, you are walking through the middle of the story. And when you are in the middle of a story, it is difficult to understand the ending. You see the struggle. You see the tears. You see the delays. You see the battles. But I see the complete picture. I see where the road is leading. I see the person you are becoming. I see the strength being built inside you. I see the testimony that is being written through every challenge you have faced. One day you will understand why certain doors had to close. You will understand why some people had to leave. You will understand why some prayers were answered differently than you expected. You will understand why the waiting lasted longer than you wanted. And when that day comes, you will see my hand in places where you once saw only disappointment. You will discover that what felt like rejection was often protection. What felt like delay was preparation. What felt like loss was redirection. And what felt like silence was heaven working behind the scenes. My child, nothing you have endured has been wasted. Not one tear, not one prayer, not one moment of faith. Every step of your journey has been woven into a greater purpose. Even the chapters you wish had never happened are being transformed by my grace. The wounds that once caused pain will become reminders of my faithfulness. The battles that once exhausted you will become evidence of my strength. The valleys you walked through will become proof that I never left your side. So do not lose heart. Do not allow today's struggle to define tomorrow's expectation. Trust me a little longer. Hold on a little tighter. Keep walking with me, because one day you will stand on the other side of this season and realize that I was guiding you all along. You will see that every step had meaning, every delay had purpose, every battle had value, and you will understand that the road was difficult not because I abandoned you, but because I was leading you towards something greater than you could have imagined. One day, my beloved, you will look back and say, now I understand. God was with me the entire time. And that realization will fill your heart with a peace deeper than every pain you had to walk through to get there. Heavenly Father, thank you for speaking to us today. Thank you for seeing every tear, hearing every prayer, and carrying us through every battle we thought we could not survive. Lord, we come before you with open hearts. We surrender our fears, our worries, our disappointments, and every burden we were never meant to carry alone. Fill us with your peace where anxiety has lived. Fill us with your hope where discouragement has taken root. Fill us with your strength where we have grown weary. Father, we ask for your healing touch upon every wounded heart, every troubled mind, and every area of life that needs restoration. Heal what pain has damaged. Restore what loss has taken. Renew what has become weak. Let your love flow into every hidden place within us. Help us trust you even when we cannot see the whole picture. Help us hold onto your hand when fear tries to pull us away. Help us remember that we are never alone, never forgotten, and never beyond the reach of your grace. Today we receive your peace. We receive your healing. We receive your restoration. And we thank you for the good work you have already begun in our lives. In the mighty name of Jesus we pray. Amen. My beloved friend, if you have stayed until this moment, I do not believe it was by accident. Perhaps God wanted you to hear every word. Perhaps he wanted to remind you that you are seen, loved, and never forgotten. Before you leave, I want to invite you to make a simple declaration of faith. Write these words in the comments. Jesus is my healer, and I receive his peace. Let this be more than a comment. Let it be a declaration. Let it be a reminder to your heart that God is still working, even when you cannot see it. And if this message encouraged you today, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who may need hope, healing, and encouragement. You never know whose life could be touched by a single act of kindness. Remember, my child, your story is not over. Your healing is already unfolding. Your restoration is already in motion. Your breakthrough may be closer than you think. Keep trusting. Keep believing. Keep reaching for his hand. Because the God who carried you through every storm will also lead you into every promise he has prepared for you. May his peace fill your heart, his strength sustain your spirit, and his love surround you wherever you go. And never forget, the healing from heaven has already been released, and it carries your name.